Hello everyone, Ember here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one, I'm going to be taking a look at the many Kyurems of GLC. So what is GLC for those of you who don't know? It's a single prize only no Robux format. It is singleton, except for basic energy, and you're only allowed one type per deck. So the first Kyurem that we can take a look at here comes in 3 different art flavors, so you've got plenty of choice here if you really want to pick one of these up. Honestly, I don't think this card has aged gracefully, but to be honest, it is a card that I still run in my GLC deck, funnily enough, just because I really like Outrage and Glaciate as an attack. Well, as attacks, but yeah, Glaciate's kind of fun, 30 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, or each of your opponent's Pokemon, I should say, sorry. But yeah, quite fun, honestly. There is some other Kyrems that interact with spread damage as well, which is fun as well, but like, I do kind of like this one a lot. It's just a bit of nostalgia reasons, though, more than anything. Like, it's not the best, but at the same time, it is fun. So, I can recommend it in that sense. But yeah, there is definitely better Kyrems to play. Then next up is we have a one that's a bit on the weak side, to be honest. Like, Blizzard just isn't that impressive. Dragonclaw is trash. So, it's a, it's a hard recommendation for this one, especially when there's like just way better and more interesting dragon type ones to work with. So yeah, very, very difficult and hard to recommend this Kyurem, to be honest. But then we can move on to a more interesting one in the form of this one from Plasma Freeze. Now, this of course does have the Team Plasma badge attached to it, which does mean you'll have access to all the Team Plasma support, including an item that does allow you to search your deck for Team Plasma energy and attach it to one of your Team Plasma Pokemon, which is important because it means you can like Arvin or Irida for the combo, which is really fun. And then Frost Spear does 30 damage and 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So quite nice spread damage. You can pair this up with the likes of Frostlass or, was it Dewgong, I think it is? Yeah, I think it's Dewgong, the one that does spread damage as well. So, I definitely think there's some really fun options. I do think this one is better than the Glaciate one, just if you end up leaning into like the Team Plasma support and other water type Team Plasma Pokemon, really. So yeah, definitely do quite like this one a lot and think it has, a decent amount of potential and a lot of fun. Maybe not as powerful as it once was in standard for sure, but still a solid option for GLC overall. And then we have some ones which are sadly pretty bad, not gonna lie. I think the White Kyurem might be the best one here with Damage Rush, potentially one-shotting anything in the game, but of course it's a coin flip, so it's a bit risky in that sense. But yeah, sadly both of these are pretty terrible, which is a shame because I love the artwork a lot, but I can't in good conscience sit here and defend bad cards. So yeah, I will do it sometimes if I think there's some flavor in a card, but sadly these cards are lacking in the flavor department as well. So yeah, bit of a shame again, bit of a shame. Then we have a one that I'm personally biased towards because I just happened to play this one in a very bad deck back in the XY era of the game. But yeah, Burning Icicles does 40 damage, but if it has any Fire Energy attached to it, it does 20 damage to your opponent's bench Pokemon. So quite fun because there is actually some other water types like Volcanion, which do have synergy with having Wolf Fire Energy attached to them, I think, which is kind of cool. So you could lean into that. Unfortunately, there is another White Kyurem later on in the video, which is just much better than this one, sadly. But if you're going for cheap attackers, because like that Kyurem takes 3 energy, this one takes 2, so this one is marginally better in that sense. So like you could look into this as a nice spread option. But yeah, just a bit of fun, but at the end of the day, not the best option, not the worst either. So quite a fun card really. Then we have a one from Dragon Majesty, also came in the flavor of a promo art, which is nice. Again, Outrage, not really that good, sadly, just because you'll get one shot most of the time. But then Frost Spirit is 100 for 3 and 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, which is pretty pitiful. So, yeah, kind of hard to recommend. Don't think there's a lot of flavor to this one, and there's just more interesting Dragon ones as well later on. So, yeah, it's a bit of a shame, to be honest. I'm kind of like bulleting through some of these, I'm aware of that. But yeah, I just can't really think of anything to say about these two. It's just, yeah, it's just not that impressive, sadly. Then we get to some really fun ones. Now, this White Kyurem is really good. Freezing Flames, 80 damage. If it has any Fire Energy attached to it, it does 80 more. I would recommend Rainbow Brush, just because you'll back Excalibur on 3 Water Energies, for example, 2 White Kyurem, then you can Rainbow Brush and swap one of those Water Energy for a Fire Energy in your deck. Alternatively, you could use like Crispin or Raihan, so there is plenty of ways of doing this, but yeah, Freezing Flames, really solid move. And then this Black Kyurem, which I think is kind of underrated actually. For 4 energy, Dazzling Blizzard does 100. And if you have any stadium card in play, this attack does 100 more. So most of the time, these attacks often require you to discard a stadium in order to do the extra damage. This one is literally just saying you have to have a stadium in play. Like it has to be your stadium, sure, but that's not a unreasonable requirement. I would say like you can probably get away with playing like 4 stadiums in a deck anyway in GLC. So having Dazzling Blizzard there to use up to 4 times, really. I mean, you can recover stadiums if you really want to, but like 200 damage for 4 energy, honestly, not that bad. So yeah, quite a big fan of this card for sure. Would like to try it out in the future. Yeah, seems pretty cool. Then we have this one from Broken Bonds with Hail Prison, which does 110 damage, and you have to discard 2 water energy from this Pokemon, and you leave your opponent's active Pokemon paralyzed. So you do have to recharge this every time you want to attack with it, which is, can be quite annoying if you're not like, I suppose if you're not one-shotting anything actually, then it's kind of annoying to like constantly recycle the energy and then reattach them with things like Baxcalibur. If you one-shot something though, you can always just use Call Forth Cold, and then the following turn use Hail Prison. So that's quite nice. There's some nice synergy there. But aside from that, this is definitely probably like the best like normal Kyurem, I would say. This one's probably the best white Kyurem. This one's like the best normal Kyurem, and then that's like the best black Kyurem. So some very nice options from the Sun and Moon era, I would say. But yeah, definitely a very, very strong card overall for sure. And if you just want like a devastating Polaris' move, this is your Kyurem basically. Then we have one from Evolving Skies, which to be honest, I think is a bit too expensive to make work. But Extreme Freeze for 2 water and a metal says discard any number of water energy from your Pokemon, and you do 60 damage for each card you discarded in this way. So you can't discard any metal energy, which is really annoying, very awkward. So you have to exclusively focus on water. I can't think of any like major energy acceleration for dragons that springs to mind. I think there may be a Dragonite that accelerates a water and a lightning or something, but like at the end of the day, that's only 1 energy into stage 2, and this needs like so many energy discarded every turn just to do relevant damage. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Don't get me wrong. Like, if you get Heavy Baton in there or something, so you can conserve some energy, or Wishful Baton, EXP share, that kind of thing, and then use this as like a late game swinger to finish them off, then yeah, fair enough. Like this could be pretty devastating, but at the same time, I'm just not feeling the potential of this card. Sadly, like it's cool, right? It is cool, but yeah, it's not speaking to me really. This one is a very different story. Like this one is devastating. Now, Trifrost for 2 water, 2 metal, and a colorless, so ridiculously expensive, very absurd. However, you do have to discard all energy as well, but you do 110 damage to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon, which is devastating. Like this will absolutely wreck entire boards. It will swing the game right in your favor, if not just outright win it. So very, very powerful card. You can help pay for the attack cost using its ability Plasma Bane, which says if your opponent has any cards in the discard pile that have Colress in the name, this Pokemon can use the Trifrost attack for colorless. So it is very specific, like you do have to rely on your opponent being foolish enough, I guess, in a way of playing a colorless, but thankfully there's 3 color supporters that are viable in GLC. So, the sky's the limit potentially, like Trifrost could be a Punisher, but at the same time, it's a high risk, high reward card. If we ever get a way to ramp energy to dragon types, like a very easy way of ramping water and metal, then this could be very, very scary in the future. But as it stands right now, not too much of a threat, but yeah, can be devastating. But yeah, thank you for watching overall. I do a new set review for GLC with each new release, so do subscribe if you're interested in being updated, the most recent one being Surging Sparks. This is now a series to stay, of course, so let me know which Pokemon you'd like to see. There is a list, we're going through them, and a playlist has been made on the channel. If you want to dive into the competitive side, Omnipoke and the format creator Tricky Jim have both done fantastic videos and guides for each type. But yeah, it's been Amber Power doing many Kyurems of GLC, and yeah, let me know what you think down below, and thank you for watching.